Michael, as a child, was absolutely delightful.
He was always a very calm, relaxed kind of person, which is one of the reasons why he had so many friends and why he was a favorite among our family members.
I'd like to thank my parents for this awesome party.
He was bright, great sense of humor, and just an easy child to raise. And there was something very special about Michael. There was something healing about him in his nature. And I'm not surprised that he ended up becoming a physician.
Well, Mike's physical condition was visible to us really almost from the first year of life. In fact, in retrospect, it had affected him even when he was an embryo.
He was my second son. My first child, my first son, Matthew, was a terrific athlete, and Michael was just not.
He had general muscular weakness growing up. He got tired more easily than the other kids and didn't have the same strength or running ability as the other kids did.
We had never heard of RYR-1. We had no idea what it was.
There was a lot of information when he was growing up, but it was erroneous. Well, being a member of the medical community, it was extremely frustrating and in fact aggravating to me that although we took Mike to see world-class experts,
nobody knew what it was.
Mike was finally diagnosed with a mutation in the RYR-1 gene only about 4 or 5 years ago.
And then my husband and I were each tested and found out that we were both carriers. Michael was unlucky enough to have the two of us as his parents. Yeah.
My childhood was a lot like a lot of kids who have RYR-1. They know something's not completely normal, but they often don't know what it is.
So why don't you tell us, what's your name?
Jackson, of course.
And Jackson, what do you want to be when you grow up?
A scientist.
What kind of scientist?
A scientist that does everything.
What's this that you have next to you?
Oh, it's a walker. It helps me walk. But sometimes I don't like to use it. And I would rather not have this. Yeah, that's what I would rather not have.
How come?
Yeah, it's like, I don't really like it that much, but I don't know.
Gotta use it, right?
I have to.
Do you know what RYR-1 is? Cord disease is?
It means you don't know how to walk.
The best way that I would describe RYR-1 is that it causes generalized muscle weakness, and that can be a wide range of symptoms from very, very mild to the point where someone might think that they're just a little bit clumsy to very, very severe, where they are confined to a wheelchair, may need breathing assistance, may not be able to feed themselves, and so there is a huge range from mild to severe.
My name is Marcy Epstein. My husband is Stephen Epstein and my son is Jackson Epstein, and both of them have central cord disease from the RYR-1 mutation. I've seen it over the years progress just from him maybe not being able to walk or sit up to, it's affecting his lungs, it's affecting his GI system, it's affecting so much, really every aspect of him.
The idea of the foundation came out of a conversation my family and I had with Dr. Jim Dowling at the University of Toronto, who's one of the world's leading experts in RYR-1. We were meeting with him in 2013 and simply said to him, what can we do to help?
He was asking me, what does the community need? What does the field need? And having been to family meetings for other types of myopathies, my feeling was what RYR-1 really lacked was a community. A place for families to go to talk about what's going on, to understand that they're not alone. And also a centralized place to think about how to best develop research
My name is Dr. Andrew Marks, and I am the chairman of the Scientific Advisory Board for the RYR-1 Foundation. I am a cardiologist and physiologist at Columbia University in New York. RYR-1 is a rare genetic disease. It's referred to in the drug development world as an orphan indication, meaning that there are so few patients who have it that no big drug company is going to want to invest a lot.
So the work of the foundation is primarily to support research that will ultimately lead to a cure or a treatment. Right now we have 4 research projects that we're funding. That's a commitment of over $300,000.
The research we do to understand and treat this disease costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of resources to be able to do this type of work. And it's foundations like the RYR-1 Foundation that provides the opportunity for researchers like myself, clinicians that I work with, geneticists that I work with, to do the work we do.
To keep this kind of conversation going between these researchers so they don't feel isolated, so they can hear from each other, get ideas from each other, share their research, and then come away from it with light bulbs.
Because RYR-1 is so rare, there are not a lot of meetings that occur focused on this condition. So we've been able to host and sponsor meetings that simply would not have occurred.
And until this came about, until the RYR-1 Foundation came about, I had felt so alone. I go to doctor's appointments alone, therapy appointments alone. It's just Jackson and I, because Steve has to work.
Passing on this disease is really, it weighs on me. I feel awful. I mean, I wish I could have rewound that clock and said, hold on before we go forward. Maybe I should get tested. So the guilt's there. We plan everything based on what he can physically do.
I feel sad that as a parent, you know, I can't just have a typical family day and family experience. It's very hard sometimes to go through the day-to-day, constantly wondering what's going to happen next.
Until this foundation was developed, there was no single source from which those affected families or affected individuals could get any information. Almost none of them had ever met another individual with the same disease.
There's really no one around here who's going through the exact same thing I am, and in terms of meeting another child, he's never met anyone else with a remotely similar condition to his.
So Jenny Ryan's been a great addition to the foundation. She's one of our board members, and she's been the main person to set up our family meetings, and it's really because of her vision, her leadership, her generosity that we've been able to host a family meeting with over 200 people, over 75 affected families from 6 different countries.
Children and adults of all ages. The youngest person with RYR-1, I think, coming is 2.5, and the oldest is 78. And neither one have met anyone ever before with, you know, an RYR-1 myopathy.
Knowing there are other people like yourself and being able to share your experience and being able to get support from patients and families is just extraordinary.
I think that the patients will learn from the scientists, from the geneticists, from the clinicians that are at this meeting, but also know that all of us are going to learn from the family members, the challenges that they undergo every day, and their stories.
We want people feel that they have a home, that affected families feel that this is a place for support and for friendship and for information.
The RYR-1 Foundation has only been around now for, I think, 2 or 3 years, and it is unbelievable how much progress they have made. I mean, to think that an organization that is relatively new has been able to bring together such a large community to activate and motivate the RYR-1 community and to provide this home that we talked about, you know, in a offhand conversation a couple years ago already, and I really feel like the RYR-1 community has a place to go, has people to talk to, and has an advocacy group that's thinking about them and how to make their lives better.
I am forever grateful for the Goldberg family for doing this.
Our ultimate goal is to be out of business. We want to be out of business, finished. Let there be a treatment, let them be a cure, and we don't need to exist anymore. That would be the best.